Ladies and gentlemen, it is the 20th anniversary of the Sticky Wicket Improv Troupe's debut. The name, anyways. Uh, Off camera, I am Adam Neal, and on camera, one of our founding fathers, Alex Newborn, and we're going to do a quick thing. You know, I used to do wrestling stuff on the side. I had a gimmick at one point called Five Questions with Mark Adams. That was my name. So we're going to do five questions with Alex Newborn today. You good? You ready?
Sure.
Fire away. First meeting and first impressions of the original group. Alex, Stefan, Wes, and Jake. Give us a quick cliff notes of how y'all met.
Wes and Stefan, I knew from college. I can remember the first day I laid eyes on Stefan. We were all sitting over in the Galat Center, and somebody said, "Hey, there's this actor that you've got to see," and takes me to a different, like he was a grade below me or whatever, class of Robert Allen Holder's acting class. And Stefan was performing in a scene from Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. And it was a scene where, I mean, my God, the range of emotions he was portraying, and he never had a wrong note. But he's angry, he kills a guy, then he turns to the heavens and is challenging God with a switchblade in his hand. And I mean, it's just like, you were rapt by that performance. I can't remember the very first time that I met Wes, but similar memory of being in a class in the theater classroom with him, and he was doing a scene from Equus. That was, here he is, a teenager, and he's, portraying this very complex scene, a very layered scene. So the two of them. Jake, I think I first met my friend Doug, that I'd gone to from like 5th grade through college with. Doug was performing in a production of I Hate Hamlet, and Jake was the director. So that was my first time meeting Jake. I'd also done, by that point that we started the Wickets, Jake had directed me in Complete Works of William Shakespeare Abridged, which is a very fun show and has a certain amount of improv stuff to it. I don't know, I can't remember what year that was. That might have been 2002 that he had directed me in that. So.
Concerning our shows,
Mm-hmm.
the short form improv, the Whose Line Is It Anyway format, do you have a favorite aspect of Wicket shows?
Wow, that's I do love the energy that we get back from the audience. That's something you don't have in other forms of theater. Um, Elsewhere, when you're on stage and you've got the lights in your eyes and you are sending energy out, you're getting bursts of applause. You're getting, bursts of laughter, maybe snuffling of tears if you're doing something dramatic. But the constant two-way flow of energy from the stage to the audience, and uh, the feeding nature of that we're feeding off of them and they're feeding off of us and we're feeding off of them. That's probably the most unique aspect to short form improv for me. So
Almost like a conversation with
it
the
is.
audience.
It is a conversation with the audience. They are an active participant in the construction of the show that they're watching. They said that the Muppets were the only people that were their own audience as they were being filmed, because the camera's here, their hand is, this much of the frame is their performance, but they've got a monitor either on their chest or on the floor, and they are seeing exactly what their audience was seeing. And they were the first performers in history to ever have a setup like that they were simultaneous audience members and performers, because of the way it was, they were trying to frame themselves in the shot. And I have a feeling that we approach something like that, which is so funny that they have improv puppet shows now with Jim Henson's son, Puppet Up. I'd love to go see one of those. But same sort of thing. It's like, I don't know what the show is until the audience creates the show with us. So.
Very much. I like the way you say that, with us.
Mm-hmm.
It's very inclusive. Is there a specific show you can remember that really stands out in your brain for one reason or another?
After 20 years, you tend to kind of, like you were talking about tent polling. It's like, well, there was that show we did out of town. There was that show we did with that other improv. I think it's the same show there. There was this, there was that. They have to almost be very unique and outlying shows to have a specific memory. Otherwise, all the ones that we did in our lamented space, the Zodiac, they all kind of tend to blur into one big show. But I know like when we would do like a Halloween show and we built in a lot of fun stuff, or the night we did the skits from influential comedy predecessors, that was a good one. I did the Ghostbusters show while you were in New York. That one was fun, but I don't think it was as good as the level of some other shows we had done. It was just the fact that we had an overlay for the entire show made it slightly memorable. I don't know. A thing I was telling you earlier. So we did the show on with all the multiple skits from previous comedies. The Kids in the Hall, MTV's The State. You name it, we had done something. At the prep meeting for that, Adam says, and I'm going to learn Yakko's World from Animaniacs. And I go like this. I said, oh, you mean United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama. You mean that one. Like, that was all I knew. Was the first 4 countries. And he goes, or you're going to learn that. And I had to spend the next 6 weeks, however long it was from that meeting to the actual show, I had to cram that song into my brain. I had to listen to it ad infinitum over and over and over and over. And come the performance, literally in other skits of the night, I had a script in my hand because there was no more room in my brain for anything besides the 200 countries in that song. So the night of the performance, we hit play on a piece of backup music, and I say United States, Canada, Mexico, Canada, and my brain's going, oh man, I didn't even get 4 countries. Those were the 4 I knew to start with. Those were the 4 countries I already knew, and I have completely messed this up. So last year, I took my sons to Huntsville Comic Con, and we were there to meet Maurice LaMarche, who was a voice on the real Ghostbusters. We're all dressed as Ghostbusters. But the table next to him is a guy named Rob Paulson. Maurice LaMarche is the brain. Rob Paulson is Pinky. Rob Paulson is also the voice of Yakko. And so I told Rob Paulson, I said, so I know you've had 1,000 people come up to you and try to prove that they have learned and know Yakko's World, but I'm the guy that screwed it up in performance. And he goes, well, that happens, And so but the really cool thing about it was, then he said, but you finished the rest of the song, right? And I'm like, yeah, I muddled through and I got to the end without problems. And I'm like, yeah, with no problems. He goes, good for you. It was like he took what I was saying and he gave me a life lesson from it. The importance was not that I screwed up on the 4th country, but that I got all 199 rest in the correct sequence. So thank you, Rob Paulson, for that.
It's not how many times you fall down, it's how many times you get back up.
Thank you.
All right, what are we up to? 4? Do you have a favorite character or joke that you've done over the years, whether it's been a running gag, a one-time thing? Is there anything that pops to memory?
I do have a character that I go to a lot, which you recognize her because she's Charlene Buemiller from when you directed me in Tuna Christmas. And so she's just this teenage girl that has braces, and you just retract your upper lip off your front teeth, And so she's this specific attitude that I can go to. I have done real people in the local theater community, and it was not well received. Although we never said who I was doing. So it was a pretty good impression, I'd have to say, because everybody in the audience was going, oh, that's not right. Like they recognized what I was doing.
Plus, as soon as you hug everybody on stage, we know who you are.
So there have been characters, that nameless characters that I've gone to several times. Sometimes they're a one-off in that show. You'll come up with a moment, and then he'll pop out throughout the show, which is sort of the running gag. But a specific line, and I was trying to think of this one earlier. I don't know what's your audience for this? Does it matter?
Nah.
It's a little risque.
Oh, okay.
But
tiptoe as best you can.
I was more moderating this show. I was sort of off to the side, and the actors were on stage, the performers were on stage, and it was a world's worst type situation. And the prompt from the audience was so specific, and it was like pick up lines from Arnold Schwarzenegger or something similar to that, and they were all stepping up and saying something, and I'm like, it's right there. They don't see it. It's right there. And I'm like, I have to. And I took center stage and I said, live with me if you want to come. And the audience just like lost it. And I'm like, how could nobody I thought it was such an obvious one. I thought it was the lowest hanging fruit on the tree. And so I took that one. That one still stands in my memory. So.
My brain would not have got there. Final question: do you have a favorite character or joke someone else has done over the years?
I mentioned one the other night at the tryouts. I have two because I've talked about both of them recently. At the tryouts, we talked about. I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Michael Terrell.
Mike. So I had done Tuna Christmas for Adam in 2007. But in what year did you direct Tuna Does Vegas?
Hell if I know.
I was unable to be in the show that time. Just too much was going on for me. I didn't have the time to commit to it as I would have loved to revisit those characters. But so Adam cast it with two other people and had a Wicket show after one of the performances. And so the cast from that show was Mike Terrell and
Hunter Middleton.
Hunter Middleton. And so they were playing games with us. And so the setup was Stefan is trying to explain to his boss why he's late for work, but people are having to pantomime to him the 3 reasons the audience had given us. And so as he's figuring out that they're pantomiming a car breaking down, he extemporized that he was late because he had to push the dead car to work. And whoever was playing the boss, I think maybe Jay, you, Adam, Adam says, "Why did you push the car here?" And Mike Terrell goes, "Idiot, how's he gonna get home?" And I'm just like, that's so good. Oh, I loved that line. And then the other one was, and I was telling this to, I had a new hire at work, and she told me that she dates Patrick's son, and and they were talking about how she was told to tell me that that's how she knew me. And I said, well, I'll tell you, one of the best things I've ever heard come out of anybody's mouth on the Zodiac stage, and it was Patrick, and the prompt from the audience was world's worst television. And we're all like, I don't know what to do with this. And Patrick steps up, takes center, and looks at this imaginary box, and he goes, I don't like the way this radio's looking at me. I'm like, he had a character, he had the whole history of that person was there in that one sentence. You understood that this was this guy's first time seeing oh God. Those two stick out in my brain. There have been so many.
You stole one of my answers, by the way.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
That was one of yours?
That's going to be Patrick's. I'm going to work to get that on Patrick's tombstone.
Put it in there. So, Jay had a good line one night because it was superheroes. And in superheroes, the first person that comes out is their personality is picked by the audience. And then the next person that steps out, they have to assign their superhero identity to them. Now, the rest of them backstage, they've got a minute where they can say, call me this, and I'm going to do this. There is a cheat for the 3rd, 4th, 5th people. But for the first person on stage, you got nothing. And I turned around. What was the guy? I got a Facebook thing from him the other day. Had curly hair at the time. Big muscular guy.
Brian Johnson.
Brian Johnson steps out, and he has this blank look like he's waiting for me to imbue him with an identity. And I blanked, and I went, thank God you're here, gay Thor. And so he starts, playing the character, and he's using his hair, and it was great. And, it got its little laugh. Jay walks in as the next guy, and Brian assigns a personality to Jay, and Jay goes, so you're gay Thor? You must really enjoy being an Asgardian. And I'm like, oh my God, did he have that in the chamber before this show, or did he just come up with that? Oh my God. So yeah, that was a good one, because I never expected it to have a punchline. It was just get me out of this situation and get the onus on the next person, and they have to come up with something. It was, get the audience's eyes off of me and onto him. But Jay actually made it look like it had a constructed, setup and payoff situation, and it did not. So.
We give Jay grief sometimes for being the Sheldon Cooper of our bunch, who will go into the deep dives.
I could see that.
But when he connects. When he gets some wood on the ball, grand slam, home run. So you must really enjoy being an Asgardian. Yeah.
Enjoy being an Asgardian.
We have got a 20th anniversary show coming up Saturday, July 8th. Alex is doing everything in his power to be there.
Wait, July 28th is the show. What's
Dagnabbit, July 8th. July 8th.
Oh, you might have said it right. I might have said it wrong, but I was looking at the calendar. if July 8th is the show, what's today?
Today, June 20th, 2023, is the actual 20-year anniversary of the Wickets. The OG Alex Newborn. Any final thoughts?
Um, it is one thing to get the laugh from the audience, but performing with the quickest minds, the funniest people that I know, and sharing the stage with them, and coming up with something in that desperation moment of just open your mouth and something comes out, and seeing. We were at the old racquetball club rehearsing one night, and you and I were doing a scene as a doctor and a nurse. You were the nurse, and Wes is sitting there on an exercise ball, one of those big, medicine balls, and I'm trying to think, well, what can I say to make me sound more like a heart surgeon? And Adam feeds me the line. He goes, "Should that look like that?" And I went, "Well, it don't look like an aorta." And I see, and we're in a room with mirrors everywhere, so I see infinite Wes's just silently fall off the medicine ball onto the padded floor. And it's one of those moments of, like, I really achieved something right then, because I made Wes laugh, or silently laugh, but I knew that I'd landed one that day. So yes, that's one of the joys of performing with these people, even though I don't get to do it as often as I'd like to, is to stay. That guy is one of the funniest individuals I've ever met in my life. We went one afternoon, it was Stefan, Michael Hill, me and Wes went to lunch at KFC, and like all the elderly people sitting there and like, what is so damn funny at that table? Like, we could not stop laughing at just the simplest little things that one another was saying. So to be in an environment with those guys and see what they're doing and see their brilliance. Michael Bradley took a wonderful photo of me. I had just been on stage and I was talking about my father passing a few weeks before, and that I was in the stage where I had directed him in a play for my directorial debut. My father acted in, and so there's a wistfulness to my expression, but I'm profiled backstage, not performing. I'm watching the performers from their backside. I'm not even seeing the good side of them that the audience gets to see, and you can tell. And I labeled it when I use the photo as my profile pic on Facebook. I called it Admiring Brilliance. So it is. I'm standing on stage, and these guys are so smart and so funny. And if I can ever make one of them laugh, I'm like, that's an achievement. Tick that box.
20 years of the Wickets. On behalf of the audience, which is where I started and where I still like to be, thank you for 20 years, Alex. We will see everybody Saturday, July 8th, 2023, 7:30 p.m. at the Ritz Theater. Okay. Signing off.
7:30, I can't make it.
Oh, damn it.